What up, YouTube? It's your boy Vic NYC82. It is cool, rainy October day in New York City. It's finally hoodie weather, and I'm happy about that. So, anyways, you guys like trains? I like trains. Let's go look at some trains. Entering the New York Transit Museum. Yeah guys, so this video is a video I made of a trip I took to the New York Transit Museum, located in downtown Brooklyn. It's on the corner of Schermerhorn and Court Street. Now, if you weren't looking for it, you could easily miss it because it's unique. It's actually in an old decommissioned subway station, so you have to go on the ground. You have to be looking for it, or you'll completely walk by it. Because it looks like just any regular train station around the city, but it's there, and when you come up on it, the sign will say New York Transit Museum, and you know, it's a cool place. It's unique. Admission is $10 for adults, it's $5 for children, and seniors 62 and above are $5. If you're an employee, if you're an MTA employee, it is free admission. Now, disclaimer, I am an MTA employee, so this didn't cost me anything. Now, that's part of the reason why I wanted to go down there, because I've always liked trains. Now, I'm not a train buff, I'm far from it. So if you're watching this video for a history lesson, this ain't the one for you. You're not going to get that. I like trains, but I don't know every single little detail about them. So you're not getting that in this video. I do speak about things that I know from working on the subways for the past amount of years that I've been working there. But detail for detail, yeah, I'm not that guy. I'm not a buff. I'm not a rail fan or anything like that. I just like historical items and old stuff like that. So this museum is very appealing to me. So like I said, guys, the museum itself is located downtown Brooklyn. It is in an old decommissioned train station. It was the Court Street station. I think it was decommissioned sometime in the 30s. And it reopened, I believe, in 1976. This was supposed to be a temporary exhibit, but obviously, you know, we're in 2019 and the museum has just been in full operation ever since. You know, it wasn't what it is today, but you know, a lot of these train cars that you see were restored over time, and items were donated to the museum and stuff. It's cool stuff, man. I like old stuff. The museum is 2 levels. There's no air conditioning in these days. We had to deal with the ceiling fans. The upper level is just mostly transit related artifacts. They do cover like surface transit. There's some buses and things like that. There's some props. I didn't get a lot of film there. Actually, I got no film there because there was just a bunch of school groups there, a bunch of kids running around. It was kind of hard to record. So to me, the meat and potatoes anyway was the platform level where the trains were. So that's what you're gonna see in this video. So this would be the operating cab. This is where the engineer conductor would be. Honestly, it doesn't look that much different from today's trains. That's the handbrake. And that's the emergency pull handle.
We could have written that train. Yeah.
Air conditioning. Yeah, my bad with the finger. You know, I had my GoPro and I didn't have it on a stick or anything like that. I was just holding it in the case, so you know, a few times my finger gets in the way. So my bad about that. Franking now into the process, probably the shuttle. You know, I was trying to be discreet with my GoPro because, you know, every time I go someplace and I want to record, I ask first if it's okay. Now, when I got to the museum, I asked the young lady upstairs if it was okay to record and do video, and she told me no. So in the beginning, I really didn't record anything. But after a while, you know, I'm downstairs and I'm like, there's a bunch of people walking around with cameras and phones taking pictures and videos. So, you know, that's when I started recording. But I did try to keep it discreet. This is old. It's from 1916. It's 103 years old. You know, just in case, you know, an employee said something, which none of them did. And I ran into plenty of employees and they just kind of looked at me and didn't care. Or maybe they just don't know the rule or whatever. But I didn't get in trouble, so I guess that's a good thing. And honestly, you know, who goes to a museum and doesn't want to take pictures? I understand certain places like art museums. Okay, I get it. You want to protect the art, but these are subway cars. You know, what are you protecting? You know, if you're gonna let me sit down and touch it, why not record? I just didn't see the point of that. But like I said, I did it. I asked first, and employees saw me doing it. I saw plenty of people doing it. Employees didn't say anything to anyone, so I don't honestly don't know what the deal is with that. So yeah, that's why, you know, I had my GoPro, but I didn't have it on anything. Looks like the operating cap. Yeah. I mean, honestly, it looks almost the same to what we operate today. 1916. That's insane. This thing's 103 years old. Yeah, I forgot to mention in the beginning that even though I don't give you a history lesson, I did stop at all the placards and just film there briefly. So for anybody that's interested in actually reading or knowing more about the trains here, you know, feel free to pause the video. That's why I did that. But like I said, I'm no train buff, so I just went down here as a person who appreciates old things, you know, historical things. So plastic seats. Check out the old map. I really like how they got period accurate advertisements. Now, to my understanding, a lot of these are not original. They're reproductions, but I do think that they did have some that were original. Maybe on the newer trains. I think if you know, when you go back to the trains from the 30s and the 60s, and those were a little harder to get, but they do have period correct advertisements. I just thought that was so cool. Some of them took me back to my youth. Yeah, looks just like an R46. I mean, that cab door is super small, but If you had the A, F, or R trains, this is pretty familiar. Got an old diesel, old work train. It's an old work diesel. Honestly, it didn't look any different from the diesels you see out there today. But yeah, it's just a diesel locomotive. If you've been in the subway late at night or on the weekends, it's not unfamiliar to you. They take items and materials to job sites, and that's what they're for. Electric locomotive. Wow, 1910. Holy shit. Caboose. This is an old Long Island Railroad caboose car. The Long Island Railroad used cabooses in their old fleet, in their old freight fleet service. So this train was actually restored, and I believe it's on loan to the Transit Museum. I don't know for how long, but it was pretty cool to look inside. It looked comfortable for the time. Looks like an old pump train. Yeah, that's exactly what it is. It's an old pump train. You got all the pumps and stuff in here. These are used to combat flooding. Yeah, pump car. Jesus, from the 1930s. We do have pump cars in the system today. There's like 2, maybe 3, but I think it's more like 2 in the system. The last time I remember them being used was after Sandy flooded up several tubes. So, that's pretty much what they're for. They just combat flooding. You hook up hoses. It's dark.
Tam były drzwi, to wyjść. A tutaj kierownik.
Oh wow, look at that map. It's a period accurate map. He said, if you're a person that likes old stuff like me, you'll be in heaven in here. I mean, even the advertisements are period correct. Now, they're not original. Now, even though this one here isn't red, the R33 cars were part of the Redbird fleet You know, the Redbird fleet consisted of R26s, 28s, 29s, 33s, and 36s. These cars ran in the A division or the IRT, and still the same. They began to be phased out. Well, they were phased out of customer service in the 2000s, in the early 2000s when the 142s came in the system. But we still have several of these around. They're used now mainly for work purposes. So you'll see them coupled to work trains or garbage trains. There's a couple of them in the yards. So most of them were dumped in the ocean, became artificial reefs, but some of them are still hanging around. $19.50. Railroad crossing. The R15. The R15 was a A division car. I keep saying A division. A division means IRT, the numbered lines. But anyways, these cars began coming into the system in 1950. They ran on the IRT 7 line, but I mean they ran all over the A division. But this particular car, 6239, is significant because it was the first car to be fitted with a prototype air conditioner, and it went into service in September 8th, 1955. The prototype failed and was eventually removed, but it was eventually restored to operational status.
Transmitted to remote substation to change the AC to DC.
Wow, look at that. Look at that AC system.
That's pretty much the system we use today. We have 219 substations taking power from the New York State Power Authority, changing it to direct current
To the polo grounds. Wow.
So now, the next thing I want to focus on is equipment. The power switching to the rotary machines. Just briefly, so what was the rotary doing? To convert the AC we use rectifiers.
called a rotary converter. And it's nothing more than a rotating rectifier which changes alternating current to direct current.
This one's a little high. And if you ever wonder where the term strap hangers came from, old canvas straps. Oh, you even had little seats up here. Guess I'll have a seat. Oh, this is actually pretty good room. You know, you don't want to be in front of everybody or a crowded car. It's not a bad place to sit. It's an interesting configuration. You actually sit down looking at the person in front of you. I don't know how that would fly today. See how this works. Oh man, yeah, I gotta give it. These seats are actually comfortable. So this is the operator's cab. Let's take a peek. Yeah, this is very different. Not that much actually. BMTQ card, 1908. Redbird. I've actually moved one of these in the yard.
You remember these, right? Oh, yeah.
Good old Redbirds. This one's not open. It's the Rockaway line, A-line. Well, guys, getting close to the end of the video, so I'm gonna wrap it up. You know, overall, museum's cool. It's small. You're not gonna spend more than like an hour and some change there, but you know, it's affordable. $10, that's lunch. You know, so it's not bad. I recommend it. You know, I enjoyed my time there. I had been there one other time once, but that was like over 25 years ago. I was in junior high school. You know, so coming back, it was nothing how I remembered it. So I'm glad that I came back. With that said, that's gonna be it. I'll see you guys in my next adventure. Peace. Hey YouTube, it's your boy Vic NYC82. If you like my videos, please like, subscribe, and don't forget to hit that little warning bell so you know every time I put a new video up. Peace.